はい、ベニコです。ディヴィニティ2続きやっていきたいと思います。前回は、ここにいるケム教と話して、でこれからこのね、アークスをちょっといろいろ探索していきたいと思ってるんですけど、ミヘイル・ロスの邸宅、アークスの校舎、学校かな、ブラックハウス、ケムの館、ケムさん家ですな。リザードの、領事館。とりあえず手短なところでこの辺かな、行ってみたいと思います。ミヘイルロス。ここかな。
The Royal Guard's eyes widen as you approach, beast in tow. His calloused fingers reach towards the wolf insignia adorning his uniform.
狼？
Marcus Miles.
マーカス・マイルズって。
Beast remains silent, though his clenched jaw reveals his resentment. He moves his hand towards his weapon.
ビーストどうしたの？
Calm yourself, Marcus. You don't know me, but I know you. The rebellion lives.
マーカス。あ、ビーストの本名だっけ？
You're lucky to have found an ally here. You won't find many in this house, and certainly not among the Queen's regiment. That Isbel hasn't found me out is a minor miracle.
Isbel.
Justinia. Is she inside then?
あ、女王が中にいるの？
I'm told Justinia came to express her best wishes to the bride and her father. Whether the Queen's still inside after all the commotion, I can't say. It seems the Void sent some uninvited guests. And I imagine Ross found Justinia a suitable hiding place.
隠れ家。ああ、ケム教はなんか隠れ家とか言ってたな。
The guard leans closer to Beast, his voice tight.
The rebellion is in danger. You are in danger. Do not reveal yourself here, Marcus. The guards won't know you unless you announce yourself. Your rebels braved the hinterlands, they braved the wave dancer, and now they brave a poisoned court. They need you alive.
この人はビーストに助けを求めてる感じだね。
He nods to the door, then takes the rigid stance of a proper royal guardsman.
この中に入っていいの？開いた。
Should do a stock take. Maybe
少
tidy
年、
the shelves.
何売ってるの？
Oh, didn't see you there. Sorry, it's been
な
quite
か
a
なかの
day.
日？
You need a hand with anything? Let me know.
結婚式の招待状を持っているという。この店は厳重に守られているという。盗賊と揉めているのかと尋ねる。商品を見る。まず商品だな。え？これだけ？結婚式の招待状を待ってます。
Wedding? Barduna. Haven't you heard? I'm so sorry. There's been a tragedy. You can head into the garden to see for yourself if you've the stomach for it.
なんか奥の方でボイドウォークが結婚式にとか言ってる。
Not sure how much longer I'll be here, but if you've a need of supplies, let me know.
うん。特にこの人から買うもんはないかな。っていうか何があったんだい？
No, the boss's daughter was tying the knot. Guards were to make sure it was invite only. Not that it made any difference.
結婚式の参加者の中にボイドウォークがいたってこと？
There's no way we could have known. But even in these times, one doesn't expect a void woken to appear at a wedding.
あ、結婚式にいたらボイドウォークが現れたってことね。
I'll tell you something though. We'd no problem with those filthy beasties till all these guards showed up.
結婚式のために店が閉まっていないことに驚いたという、こっちかな。ボイドウォークの攻撃について知っていることを尋ねる。
Don't know much. Everyone was out in the garden for the wedding. I was watching the shop and then guards were everywhere, but those beasties just cut through them like butter.
Butter.
Boss said to keep the doors open, but truth be told, I feel ill just standing here. By Duna, closing can't come fast enough. You and me both. Worked for Ross for a decade, and half expected an invitation of my own. But even with half of Arx lying dead in his garden, he still wants the shop open. Then again, if I'd been at the wedding... The fact that the boss loves counting his pennies is probably the only reason I'm breathing. That said, it doesn't feel right to be hawking wares with that next door. Job's a job, though. Can hardly leave Arx with naught but empty pockets. Take care of yourself.
Nothing sacred anymore. All safe.
The Royal Protector sighs at Beast, but barely looks up from the floorboards as she addresses him.
If you're here for the wedding, there was...
結婚式終わったの？
It's over now. So be on your way.
Beast gives you an inquisitive look.
どうしよう。ビーストでもこれは正体はあまり知られない方がいいんだよね。ビーストが話しなよ。
Cut short, was it? Well, then you won't mind if I head in. Royal business. Wouldn't concern you.
Look, there's been a tragedy. Bride's completely broken about it, poor thing. So like I said, be on your way.
Beast begins rifling through his pack, then produces the wedding invitation acquired in Driftwood and hands it to her.
I'd say this here's what you need, eh?
She takes the invitation from him and reads it closely, then looks up at Beast for the first time. A spark of recognition lights up her eyes, but is gone in a flash.
Figured I knew ya. One of Lohar's, eh? You're late.
ありがとう。開けてくれて。
Guess that's a good thing. I'll unlock the door for you. パリーさん。 Decided to guard a wedding. Nobody said anything about fighting monsters.
イスラ・ガルさん。
Gods, I am so sorry. How could I have known?
この人が花嫁？
She looks up at you with glassy eyes, wiping her tear-streaked face on one brocade sleeve.
girl's wedding should be the happiest day of her life.
包み上がりためらいがちに結婚のお祝いを述べる。いや、今は述べない方がいいと思う。同情を寄せる。これかな？
I don't know how this could happen. Who would have seen it coming?
She looks down at her feet. Seeing her blood-spattered wedding slippers, her face crumples and tears spring from her eyes.
I should be so happy. Everybody should be so happy. But before we could even cut our wedding cake, there were void woken everywhere.
めちゃくちゃにされたんだね。
We barely made it indoors alive. But not everyone was so lucky. I can hardly bear to think of them. Their wives and husbands and children back in the kingdom, left to grieve alone.
眉毛を上げ、ボイルウォークはソースが使われた場所にだけ現れるのだと述べる。
What are you insinuating? We're merchants, not mystics. You should have seen those void monsters. All that blood, all that death. They didn't deserve... We didn't.
She buries her head in her hands, sobbing uncontrollably.
結婚おめでとう。
I can't accept them. I know you mean well, but how can I celebrate now? Void woken on my wedding day. At least my loving husband is still with me.
She turns and waves one timid hand to her husband on the balcony. He offers an apathetic grunt in return. She blinks back tears from her pink-tinged eyes.
バルコニー？
Please forgive him. He's broken up. It's a lot to take in. We lost so much in the blink of an eye.
あなたは彼女の健康を祈るというその目の色合いからして彼女は病気のように見える。この拗ねているドアを振り目を通す。彼女のそれは本当に必要なのか？どっちだろう？こっちかな？
I have been feeling peaky lately. My darling said it was the rosy glow of a woman in love. But now, I think it was a warning. A sign of the massacre to come.
彼女と新しい夫はなぜ互いの腕の中で慰め合っていないのか尋ねる。ああ。
My poor love. He needs a moment to himself. And who wouldn't? Today should have been so different.
She takes a shuddering breath and idly itches her face. You would expect her cheeks to be ruddy from tears, but they are pale instead, almost translucent, revealing the vessels snaking underneath.
Said anything about fighting monsters.
ところで女王はアウェンティエ・フラン。
The woman cries on.
開けたい開けたい。この人が夫になる人？ドリアン・ガルさん。
The dwarf stares grimly into space. Rings adorn his fingers, some of which glitter with ornate rose-tinted jewels. You notice one has a gem missing.
If you'll excuse me, I'd just as soon be left with my thoughts.
あなたは彼にボイドウォークのトラブルがあったと聞いた。結婚の祝いの言葉は今はあんま言わない方がいいか。え？
I bet you heard.
なんか左の方にくるくるしてる人がいるな。狙われた結婚式。
Perhaps my warhorse of an aunt is right. Perhaps this is what I get for debasing myself. Still, what's done is done. The marriage is final. That's the important thing.
彼は結婚式が大虐殺に変わったことについてあまり取り乱しているようには見えないと述べる。確かに。
People die all the time. Weddings aren't exempt. Not even my own. Unfortunately, sometimes people survive beyond their usefulness.
結婚おめでとう。
Yes, it's been a horrendous day. Still, it's a fine match. With her assets and my name, that is to say, we will be a force to be reckoned with.
なんだ、政略結婚か?
He glances over at his distraught bride as she takes another sip from her goblet.
Events like today's do have a way of putting things in perspective. There's much to be gained from this alliance. It survived the Voidwoken after all. Out with the old, in with the new, I suppose. Yet, Old Man Ross left the incident quite unharmed.
彼は猛烈に恋に落ちてはいないようだと観察する。末永くお幸せに。
Thank you.
Drawing breath now if I was in the garden.
Something stinks around here.
悪臭はここでホイドボー君死んでるよ。これ結婚式をする予定だったんだけどボイドウォー君が襲ってきて、なんでボイドウォー君やられてるの？あ、ケーキだ。塩？おお！わ！なんだ？囲まれた。まあ。悪魔ちゃん出してトーテムはここがいいかな。この辺に出しと変わった。うわ燃えた。じゃあこいつも燃えるのかな。燃えた。こっち来るな。燃えるぞ。燃えた。届くかな。届いた。うわ届く？届かんか。コロコロコロコロ。 もちゃんでゴーだな。これ
What is happening out here? Haven't we seen enough tragedy today?
ルフィに会ったといい、このケーキはどこから送られてきたのか尋ねる。セキュリティの重さを訴える。あのケーキには危険なおもちゃが詰まっていた。このケーキはどこから送られてきたの？
He considers the wreckage surrounding the X cake. Understanding dawns.
That cake, it came from the doctor, with a letter of congratulation. It was truly a magnificent sight, but the wedding was cut short before we could even slice it.
医者？大学かな？
Void woken, sabotage, bad cake. You'd think someone had it in for our little lady.
医者について尋ねる。
Few have seen his face, and no one knows his name. He corresponds only by messenger. The townspeople seldom speak of him, which is strange now that I think of it.
名前を知る者はいない。
He'll open your belly and fill it with jelly. The doctor is in, the doctor is in. He'll rip off your toes and shove them up your nose. The doctor is in, the doctor is in. Heard a kid singing that the other day. Her mother heard it too and beat the poor tyke senseless.
子供が歌ってた。
That was funny, I have to admit. Gotta take your entertainment where you can when you're on duty.
腹を開けゼリーを詰める。足の指をもぎ取り鼻に押し付ける。医者について知っていることをすべて話すように命じる。どこに住んでいるのか。名前とか知らないならどっち聞いてもわかんねえって言いそうだけどな。教えて。
There is little to tell. He's just the doctor. He speaks to few, and few wish to speak of him unless they're desperate. No one even knows his name.
じゃあどこに住んでるの？
It's easiest if I show you. Let me see your map.
あ、それは知ってるんだ。
He shakes his head and whistles as he identifies the doctor's home on your map.
多分その医者が大英和じゃないかな。アドラマリク。
If there was ever a house that was haunted, well, that's the one. They say almost no one gets in, and those who do never come out. Perhaps he feeds them cake.
再び訪ねてみる。
The shadowed house on the eastern cliff.
東の崖の上にある。
And watch out for the cake.
そしてケーキに気をつけろ。はい。ケーキには気をつけます。
Can't say I blame you. I don't want to appear disloyal. But as dwarfen weddings go, this one had a tad more blood than usual. A tad.
まあ、大変な結婚式でしたね。それしか言えません。はい、というわけで今回はこの辺りで終わりにしときたいと思います。ケーキの残骸が。はい。では、ほんじゃまったのー。